Everybody's telling you that the property dream is dead in 2026. Rates are up, negative gearing is gutted, don't buy now. And here's the truth, they're wrong. And the people repeating it are about to miss out on one of the best windows for property investment in years. Yes, the rules have changed, but the change didn't kill property. It killed the lazy version. And when the amateurs panic and they step back, that's exactly when prepared investors quietly move in. Let me show you what actually changed and why this fear is overblown, and how to position yourself to win while everyone else sits on their hands frozen. Just remember that this is general information only. Take this, what I'm telling you, as education, but please get advice for your own personal situation. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the budget actually attacked property. It didn't. It attacked one narrow tactic, buying a property that loses money purely for the tax deduction. That's it. Hi, I'm John Hanna, and I'll tell you plainly, property or used property with the right loan structure is still one of the most powerful wealth tools for everyday Australians. These changes, they just reward people who do it right. It punishes people who are doing it lazily. Let me prove it to you. Stay with me, because point 3 is where the real opportunity is hiding. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how to position yourself instead of sitting on the sidelines. Okay, let's go. Point 1 is, I think the fear is overblown. Take a breath, because I think this is what the headlines left out. They left out the reassuring part. The negative gearing change only limits the wage offset on established properties bought after budget night, and it doesn't even start until the 1st of July next year in 2027. You're fully grandfathers, and brand new builds are completely exempt. They still keep the full negative gearing and the 50% capital gains tax discount. And here's what almost nobody's telling you. If you already own, nothing changes. Remember, minimum of 30%. So as I was saying, the door isn't closed. It's just been pointed in a clear direction. And there's a whole protected lane the panicked crowd are ignoring. This wasn't a ban on property. It's just a redirection. And the smart money is already reading a new map. Point 2 is, look, when everyone panics, that's the herd, the prepared buyer, they always win. Here's the pattern property has rewarded for decades. Fear. You know what it does? It clears the field, doesn't it? When investors freeze, competition, that thins out. There are fewer buyers at auctions, there are more nervous sellers, and more room to negotiate for the person who actually understands what's happening. The same headlines that scare the crowd always gives the prepared buyer a clearer run. More opportunities. Most people buy when everything feels safe, which is often when it's already expensive by then, isn't it? They sit out when the market feels uncomfortable, even though that's often where the better opportunities appear. The rule is simple. The best property window rarely feels comfortable at the time. They feel uncertain. That's exactly why most people miss out. Now, this is one I really want you to hear. People hear rates of 4.35% and think borrowing is a problem. It isn't. Leverage is the entire reason an ordinary person can control, a large appreciating asset and build serious wealth from that. All leverage. So the mortgage isn't the trap, but an unstructured mortgage can be. Get the structure right. An offset account working for you, a loan stress tested so you've got some breathing room, the right product for the investor. If it's done properly, your mortgage is the single most powerful wealth lever you'll ever use. And it just has to be set up by someone who knows how to do that properly for you. So the rule is not to fear your mortgage, but to master it. And that's where leverage can work for you instead of against you. I've never had a client sit across from me and say, John, I wish I had waited longer to start building wealth. 5 years from now, you'll either be glad you started today or you wish you had. See, one conversation, one decision, one strategy can completely change where you end up financially. The challenge is most people don't realize until years have already passed. Every week, we meet with homeowners just like you who tell us the very same thing. I wish I had looked into this earlier. I wish someone had explained it to me sooner. I wish I had known what was possible for me and my family. Time to reduce interest, time to build equity, time to let compounding do what it does best. The federal government has many Australians reviewing their finances at the moment. Lenders continue adjusting their home loan products, and there has rarely been a better time to simply ask, am I on the right track? That's exactly why we offer a complimentary property and mortgage strategy session and show you what opportunities may be available to you based on your personal circumstances. Book your complimentary property and mortgage strategy session today. Your future self will be glad that you did. See, point 4 is that the new rules actually reward doing it properly. I'll repeat that. They reward doing it properly. Think about who the changes hurt and who they help. Well, they obviously hurt the person who only ever bought because of the tax refund. You should never buy property purely for the tax. They barely touch, and in some cases, they actually help the person who buys a quality, strong yielding property or a new build. Remember, as I said before, the new builds keep the full tax treatment. Properties with strong rents that nearly pay for themselves were never reliant on the tax breaks anyway. So the market is quietly shifting towards better quality, better structured investing, which is exactly how it should have been done all along. And point 5 is the real risk isn't buying. I believe the real risk is doing nothing, it's standing still. Here's the part that fear merchants never mention to you. Doing nothing, that has a cost as well. I mean, if you look at it this way, inflation is running at 4.2% and housing costs are up by 6.3% over the year. So money sitting in cash, waiting for that perfect time, that's quietly losing, while well-chosen assets, what's happening to them? They keep climbing. And the people who waited out previous downturns almost always look back and wish they've done something. I always say, when's the best time to buy property? Yesterday. When's the second best time? Today. So you're not choosing between risk and safety. You're choosing between the risk of acting and the risk of being left behind. Both are real, but you know what? Only one builds wealth. The rule is that the most expensive decision in property is usually the one to wait. So here's how I prepared moves in 2026. And remember, this is only general information. It's not personal advice. Step 1 is get the real borrowing power assessed at today's rate, not based on what you could have borrowed 6 or 12 months ago. That means understanding your true serviceability under the current market lending environment. That's how the banks are treating your income, how they're looking at existing debts, living expenses, and any buffers or liabilities already attached to you. You know, too many people shop for property first and only to find out later what the banks will actually support. It's backwards. The smart move is to know your real range up front. So making decision from fact and not from hope. Step 2 is look where the policy settings are most favorable and where the numbers still make sense, focusing on property that gives you a proper rental yield story, long-term demand story, and if relevant, new builds that still preserve the strongest tax treatment under the proposed change. So don't buy for tax alone. Run the numbers on the rent, on the cash flow, on vacancy rate, growth drivers, holding costs, and more importantly, how the assets perform if conditions stay tighter for longer than you anticipated. A good property should make sense as an asset, not just as a tax conversation. Step 3 is get the debt and the strategy structured properly before you commit. That means the loan product, the repayment setup, the offset strategy, as I've been talking about, cash buffers, ownership structures, and long-term plan all need to match your actual position, not just a generic template. The right mortgage structure can improve flexibility, it can protect cash flow, and strengthen your ability to hold and to grow your assets. The wrong one can turn a decent property into a stressful decision, sleepless nights. That is the difference between buying reactively and investing professionally. Here's a bonus step for you. Why don't you stress test the exit, not just the purchase? This is the part most investors miss. They only ask, can I buy it? But a more experienced investor asks, can I still hold it? Can I refinance it or sell it if the market or my position changes? APRA keeps a 3 percentage point mortgage serviceability buffer for a reason. See, this is expert level positioning. You're not just buying because the market looks scary or because the tax rules look friendly. You're buying something that still works under the pressure test. Because the real investor doesn't just plan the entry, they plan the exit as well. They plan the hold and the refinance before they ever sign a single contract. If you do that, you're not gambling, you're positioning correctly. So wealth was never built by the people who waited for permission. It was built by the people who understood the system and moved while others were frightened and hesitated. The dream isn't dead, in my opinion. It just belongs to the prepared now. Tell me below, are you getting ready to move, in 2026? Or are you waiting on the sidelines like the rest of the herd? And subscribe, because next I'll break down exactly how to structure an investment mortgage so the leverage actually works for you.